G'day everyone, it's Anthony here from Rethink Marketing. Just running through a quick snapshot of the things we're going to look at in Mailchimp, reviewing the overall layout of the screen, where to find the various sections. So without further ado, let's jump into Mailchimp. We'll have a look at our dashboard here, which is the first thing we see when we log in. And up across the top here are our key sections, which are our campaigns. That's when we're looking to send messages out to the wide world. There are a variety of different types of campaigns. We'll cover that in a separate module. We have our templates, which is where we can create the designs for our business and for our communications. And probably, arguably, the most important component of it are our lists. This is where we store our customer information. And how we manage those lists really is going to be defining how successful we are at our campaign management. The last component of which is measurements, which is our reporting. We can start to see how we're travelling, what our reporting is like, whether we're improving or going backwards with our lists. And it's a great guide to find out whether we've got the right material we're sharing. So let's take a deeper dive into lists. Click on the lists button here. And when we open up a list, we can start to see, I've built a whole bunch of training lists here. But if we create a new list, which is we're only going to really want to do once in a blue moon, when we first start out, we give the list a name which means something to us. So we can pop in a name for the list. We'll call this one Training Feb 19. And we choose a default email address. That email address is who we're sending the messages out from. And it really matters because if we've got a random sounding, unfriendly address like a no reply, for example, it gives our customers a message that, hey, look, we want to talk to you, but we really don't want to listen. So I always say to use an address which is perhaps an info or an open one that your organisation will actually monitor and see the replies back to. So we'll use choose a default name. Again, this matters because we decide who we want to see in their mailbox as the receipt, the name that they put in. Put in the company name, and sometimes it's actually worth testing as to whether you get a better open rate from a person or a company. Quite often we're finding, particularly in areas where we have people who are an authority in the matter, or they're a personalised small business that people just like to do business with that person, the person's name can work better. We choose our short link there for our campaigns. I'm just going to go with the one for Rethink Marketing. And we let people know how they actually got to be on the list. This is really important because we can't just go around randomly signing up people from willy-nilly, popping them on our list. We've got to let them know how they came to be on it. And in this case, I'm going to put in for people who've attended one of our Mailchimp training courses. Okay. Okay. Then we've got a physical address. Again, it really does matter there. We're going to pop in the correct spelling. Under US spam law, and I'm not certain about Australia, but certainly under the US spam law, you've got to have a physical address listed for your business. It can be a PO box, so it doesn't have to be your street address if you're worried about people turning up whatnot at your office. We generally don't worry about the double opt-in these days, particularly since some of the regulations have changed it. If you are doing business with customers or you have client details from the European Union, which until the 29th of this year includes the UK, then we do need to make sure we're compliant with the General Data Protection Regulations, which are the GDPR. In this case, I know that all of my clients are based here in Western Australia, so no need to tick on that. And then we've got a choice about our notifications. I choose not to get my daily notifications or one by one, purely for the fact that I'm looking at my reports, I'm seeing what's happening with my client base there, and I don't really want to get this stream of emails interrupting my day saying, Joe Bloggs has signed up or Jane Doe has left your mailing list. it really doesn't add a great deal of value to your day on a one-by-one basis. Click on Save, and that is the foundations of our list. Next thing we're going to want to do there is to actually create or add some contacts into our lists. Now, a lot of different ways we can add the contacts. We can add them one by one. We can start a form on our website where people can sign up. More often than not, though, we find that people have got some customer information of people they've done business with previously in some format that we can bring in. And this is what we call importing your contacts. So if we have a look at the Import Contacts button, we've got a choice to bring in a spreadsheet or a CSV or tab delimited file. You can get those out of Excel fairly easily, and you'll find that most point of sale systems, most customer relationship management systems, if they don't have out-of-the-box integration with Mailchimp, then you can get an export which will allow you to pull it in. We've also got the copy and paste from file. So this is probably the quickest and easiest way of doing it most of the time if you've got a small number of contacts, other than, of course, the integrated one, which is the things like Google Contacts, Salesforce, Zendesk, etc., where you can bring it in automatically, and it will continue to update those lists as you move forward. In this occasion, we'll just do a copy and paste from file. We'll grab our contacts out of a Google Sheet, which we've got open or got available here. Just copy these contacts out. It's a set of random generated contacts we've pulled together. Well, let's copy those cells. Just Control C. Jump back into Mailchimp. Little trick with Mailchimp, the next button is always hidden down the bottom corner of the page. Little black bar across the bottom. Sometimes you won't see it, but it is there waiting for you to click it. Press Control V. We'll go Next. And we've then got the option to start matching up our field names. So the first one is first name. Yep, that looks good. 7 matched, unmatched columns. So we'll start with the ones that we've unmatched. So the gender, we'll click on Edit, and we can choose a field down here. No existing fields available. We'll create a new name, and we'll call this field Gender, naturally. The city, we'll click on Edit, and we will choose that being Address City. Save. The state, address, state and field. State, province or region. Our zip code will pop in there as our zip code. Unfortunately, it's US, so we get used to having to call our postcodes zip codes. We've got our email address, which it's recognised. We have got our phone number. We don't really need that, so we're going to skip it. We'll choose our birthday field here as a special field. So we'll choose a new column name, and then we choose the thing birthday. And the reason we do that is it strips out the year, which we really don't care about if we're sending out birthday invitations. And it's also perhaps a little bit of a privacy concern having that information floating around in a system that's outside of your control, and there's no real need to have it if we're going to be using it for a birthday type field. It may be prudent to have a separate field which has the year of birth or their age or something like that, which we can perhaps use for segmentation purposes down the track. We'll go Save. Our last column is the company that they work for, and we'll just create a new column name. It's called Company. It's a text field. We'll go Save and Next. Oh, sorry, we've still got a field which we've done through there. Oh, sorry, they've all come through. And the status of all of these people, we're going to make sure that they're subscribed contacts. And when we're happy with that, we'll press Import. And all those contacts will be imported into our list, ready for us to start mailing, segmenting, and being able to communicate with effectively. That brings us to the end of the first part of looking at how we import a list. I'm going to stop this video here, and we will continue with the next one, which we'll send through to you. That'll have details on how we can then go about some of the advanced settings within our list configuration.